Okay, welcome back to the channel. So today what we're doing is just giving a quick update on where we are with the Barracuda rebuild. So in the last video you saw us get the Barracuda loaded up on that trailer and sent off to a body shop. With that part of the restoration going, we've been keeping busy on our side, and one of the things I've been doing is getting the hardware, the nuts and bolts prepared for a final coat of paint and reinstallation on the car. So one of the things that I've been doing, or that I want to bring everybody up to speed on, is the amount of work that's involved. So here are just, you know, some of the evidence of the completed work. So of all those activities. So for the most part, the parts were put into these individual Ziploc bags about 20 years ago when the car was taken apart. But the bolts were put in, you know, as they had been removed off the car. So they were, you know, they were dirty, grimy, full of oil, full of dirt and other things like that. With the intention that all the cleaning up was going to be done at a later date. So I'll just speak a little bit about how I'm doing that. So here's an example of the condition of these parts that when they were originally put into a Ziploc bag. So kind of rusted, corroded. So what I've been doing is I've just been taking the bolts apart like that, and then I've been cleaning them on my stationary grinder. So this is a metal kind of wire wheel, and very carefully I've just been cleaning the bolts on the wire wheel, bringing the metal right down to, you know, bare metal. So once I had the bolts down to bare metal, like shiny metal, if I had got all the grease and oil and grit off of it, great. If not, if the parts were a little bit intricate, I'd then put the parts into my ultrasonic cleaner. So that was sort of a decision that I was making. So for the most part, I was cleaning everything off on the wire wheel. All right, so after I had the hardware, you know, cleaned up back to virgin metal or bare metal, either combination of on the wire wheel or in the ultrasonic cleaner, I'd then take the bolts and then just lay them up on a piece of cardboard like this. And then I would use this product right here that I bought at my local big box store, and it's essentially acid etch primer. And then I would just give this a light spray, and then, or a light coat, and then flip the hardware up, and then I'll do the underside just to make sure I get it fully coated on as much of the surface as possible. And once that was dry, according to the instructions on this stuff, you then have to go and apply a coat of primer. So then from the same big box store here in Canada, I would then spray a coat of primer. Okay, so then I just repeat the same process. I'd spray it this way, flip it over, then spray the underside. So for the past like 2 weeks, that's what I've been busy doing, just cleaning up all the hardware. And then, you know, look at what we've got here now, you know, like parts that are completely cleaned up, metal etched and primered, you know, individually bagged as well. So once the car comes back, it should be, you know, it should be a lot more enjoyable just to come and pull from these bags and then get the car reassembled. And then you're already dealing with nice clean hardware and not having to spend time doing all the cleanup while you have the car back here and you want to get going on it. So that's what we've been doing. And then here, have a look at the finished product. Like this is an example of what I mean after you have the metal etch and the primer. So you're dealing with really nice clean hardware, that's you know, it's gonna hold up, right? It's gonna resist corrosion, and it's gonna accept the final coat of paint really well. All right, so this is essentially kind of like a snapshot of the work that's not very glamorous. It's time consuming. It's work that has to be done, and it's not that exciting to shoot a live video of that. So I just wanted to give you guys though a snapshot at the end, when I'd say about a good 95% of all the bolts have been prepared for the reinstall. But then follow me. We're gonna go over onto the other side of the garage, and I'll show you some other work that we've been doing. So as you can see right over here, I have the torsion bars already ready. So the same process, I brought these bars down to bare metal, and I sprayed them with the metal etch primer and the surface primer. So they're ready. And then here's the K-frame. The K-frame here, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time just to smooth out this surface. There's some gouges in the metal, and because this is a component that you can see quite easily when the car is up on a lift, I want to spend a little extra time to smooth out the imperfections in the metal. So I'm going to learn how to do a little bit of body work or mixing up some body filler, and then I'll apply it to here, smooth this out, make this a nice piece. And then over here, these are some more suspension parts. So you see I've got the spindles, some steering components, a couple of engine mounts, some bump stops. So just a mixed bag of things. Not a lot, but things that still need to be prepared the same way like I showed you that was used on the K-frame and on the torsion bars. So of course I could probably clean this up on the wire wheel, but I figured maybe I should spend some money and buy myself a new tool, and that's what I've done. I bought myself a sandblasting kit, if you will. It's not a cabinet. It's a mobile receptacle that you can pour media in. But you know what? How about I just show you what I bought and we'll put it together. So I bought this yesterday, and what this is the 20-gallon abrasive blaster. So let's do an unboxing. So we'll cut the straps. So this is essentially what you see when you unbox it. So everything in here looks like it's pretty compact. There's some use of styrofoam. So what I'll do is I'll just lay everything out here on the ground, and then there might be some assembly required. So I think this might be, maybe this might be the shaft for the wheels. So we'll put that on the ground. So in case you don't know, the reason why I bought the abrasive blaster is just to do the surface preparation on the Barracuda parts and any other things that we may come across in the garage that has corrosion on it, and we want to clean things up to a nice finish so that we can recoat it or repaint it. So they supplied a nice, look at this, a little bit of Teflon tape, little baggies with hardware, pretty nice. Some styrofoam. Here's another wheel. Here's the tank. Let's see, what should we pull out next? Here's the, this looks like the wand. Oh wow. So what's that? Oh, this is the, yeah, this is the wand. So you just squeeze that and this basically opens the jet for the flow. So that's pretty nice. We'll put that down there. We'll take out the tank. That should be safe there. Oh wow, they even supplied us with a funnel to fill the media. So there you have it. That's so a little leg. Here's, I don't know what this is. And it looks like we've got an instruction manual here too. So far I'm pretty happy with what we have, and here is what we bought. So it's the 20-gallon pressure abrasive blaster. And you can see there's the specifications there. Obviously I'll read this before we use it, but let's just jump to the assembly here. We'll open up this baggie here of hardware and we'll install the handles, the wheels, and the stand. With an air filter. Okay, the next step I'm going to do is attach the abrasive delivery line. Here's the supplied clamp right here. So I think we're going to use I'm going to use a number 10 millimeter socket on my 1/4-inch drive, and we'll get this pipe installed. And the nice thing about this connector, if you can see it, is that there's a bit of a shoulder on here. So whenever you get your pipe inserted onto this fitting and the clamp is clamped down, let's just make sure we get the clamp over so that it's compressing this part of the connector so that it can really hold on to that. Okay, so this takes a little bit of effort to get this pushed on. So I'm gonna set this up like this so I can easily get access to the ball valve lever here. Okay, and I'll do a test. Oh yeah, that's on there good. It does slide on here, but it won't come off. On this side of the unit, there's a port here, and this port is where the compressed air from your compressor feeds this tank. Over the course of the summer, I spent, I'd say, a better part of a month restoring my 80-gallon compressor that you see up above. This has been a really great compressor for the shop here. It's an 80-gallon tank. Once it's pressurized, it has so much air. There's so much capacity there, so I can run air tools without the compressor running steady. So over the summer, what I had to do is my tank developed a leak. It was an older tank. The tank was about 20 years old, and there was some corrosion inside, and there was actually a through hole in the tank. And I didn't want to take a chance, especially with myself and my family, to expose them to a risk of maybe the tank rupturing. So what I did is I went and I sourced a new tank. It's another 80-gallon tank, and I just transferred over the electric motor and the compressor over to the new tank. And what I've done here, this black pipe here, this is my drain. So if you want to keep your tank from rusting from the inside and developing holes or weaknesses, you need to make sure that you have a way to get the condensation out of the tank. So I have a line here that I'm able to basically rely on the compressed air to push out any water that's in the tank, and the water is automatically fed to my drain. But enough about that. Let's go back to the abrasive tank. So in my shop, I use this kind of fitting. Here it is right here, and I have one of these in my inventory. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thread that on like that, and all my compressor lines in the garage all have this sort of connection. So what I'll do is once this is on, I'll then use my hose, and that's how I'll energize, or that's how I'll pressurize my tank. Okay, so what we'll do here is we will use this supplied Teflon tape, and I will install some on the thread here of the tank. You want to install Teflon tape that as you install the fitting, as you thread the fitting on, it doesn't unwind your tape as you turn it on. So you want to make sure, so you want to pay attention to install the Teflon tape in the proper direction, so clockwise. Okay, so I went around about 6 times. That should be enough. And then you'll take your fitting, thread your fitting on, and then I'm using a 5/8 wrench just to tighten the fitting in place. And because it is an air line, you'll want to make sure that you get this thing on snug. So I'd say that's good. And then all I'll have to do is take my compressor line, connect it, and now we're ready to go. There's a nice little convenient on-off valve right here. So as we can see, I can shut up, like once the line is connected, I'll be able to turn the flow on or turn it off. And then if I want to send the pressurized air to the bottom, I can engage that flow, or I can stop that flow of air through that ball valve. And then here's another valve, so I can either activate the flow, or engage the flow, or stop the flow. So there's 3 ball valves in this setup, which is pretty nice. Okay, so I think that's going to be a wrap for today's video. In summary, I gave an update on where we are with the restoration or the preparation of the hardware for the 1966 Barracuda restoration project. Obviously there's going to be more to follow on that, as well as the unboxing of the 20-gallon pressure abrasive blaster. In the next video, I'll detail how it actually works. So we'll load it with media, and I'll plug it into the compressor, and then we'll start cleaning some of those suspension parts for the Barracuda. And the other thing I want to do is go through the user manual, read it cover to cover, to make sure that everything is set up here properly. So thanks for joining us. I hope you found this video informative. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you in the next video.